we're rolling now. So it is my honor to introduce everyone to the Turtleneck Tabletalk podcast again today. I'm your host, Austin Rempel, and I'm sitting here with Devin Roberts, and he's going to introduce our lovely guest that we have here.
And we are ecstatic for today's episode because we have the definition of girl boss with us. Ooh. Yes. So we're hoping that you are ready to be inspired as she shares her journey as she went from being a model and secretary to operational manager to now owner of a modeling agency, all before the age of 25. She's also going to 22.
Ooh,
she was 22. Oh. Yes. And she's also going to educate us on the modeling industries, the up and downs of being an agent and an owner of a business in such a competitive industry.
That's right.
And obviously, we're going to entertain with some fun questions
We're going to do that as well. That's what we do.
Yes. So we're excited to bring today's guest, Gergana Daskalova Flores, or Gigi for short.
Full name.
Yes.
Welcome on.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
This is my first podcast interview, so
yes,
I'm very excited.
And just a little, because it was like the sweetest, like one of the sweetest interactions that I've like had with a guest is beforehand, because we try to make all of our guests feel welcome. So we're like, hey,
we try.
We try. We're not always successful.
Not always successful.
But we try to ask our guests, like, what would you want from this podcast for it to be a successful podcast for you? And Gigi was like, well, I get to talk a lot on radio about different contests and stuff that we're doing, but I haven't really had the opportunity to kind of tell my story and about the things that I've been through. And so she's like, if I could just kind of share some of my story, it would be a success. And I was like, wow, that's so...
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for.
My cold heart. So.
That takes a lot. Yes. So we're really excited to hear that because, like I said, that doesn't happen often. This is the Grinch sitting over here. Yeah, we'd also just love you to have the chance to. We got you an introduction, so now your chance to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so once again, Gergana Daskalova Flores, or Gigi. I go by Gigi. That's the easier version. And I guess I'll just start from the beginning.
Okay.
Which I don't know how far back you want me to go, but we'll start from my modeling agency beginning.
That's a good start. There we go. I was going to say straight from the womb. We probably won't go that far.
I have always been really tall growing up. So I've always been told, like, you should model, you should model, you should model. And I had a mutual connection at M&I Models who kind of connected me to the agency. And I entered several model searches through the agency that I never won. But I knew that it was something that I was really interested in. And so I was able to go in and speak with the agency director at the time, and they ended up offering me representation, and I was really excited. And so I started the development process. I became a model, which the development process there was extremely different than what we do now. It was like 6 months of different in-person like classes teaching you about runway and photo movement and bridal runway and industry information, just everything. It was extremely in detail. And I modeled locally for a few years. I had an opportunity to go to Dallas and meet with bigger agencies there. But at one point, I can't remember the exact year, I remember getting a text from the previous owner, and I remember exactly what I was doing because that's how random it was and unexpected. And she was just like, hey, we need some help with the development classes. Like, would you be willing to come in and talk to me about maybe starting to kind of fill in and teach some of those? And I was like, okay, well, I don't even think I was 18 then. I think maybe 17 possibly. And I was frightened. That was a very scary thought, but I was like, you know what? She obviously believes in me, so I'm going to give it a shot, go in and talk to her and see what comes out of it. And so I did, and I decided to move forward. So I started helping with the like kids classes, the women's classes, the men's classes. And I was pretty much the instructor for those classes, teaching new people coming in about the modeling industry and helping them get started and developed and everything. So I did that for a little while until I got another text. And she was just like, hey, we need some help in the office. Do you want to like stop in, like help out? Just like little office duty things. And I was like, I mean, sure, I've never done like an office job before. I think I was working retail and tutoring at my high school at that time. So I was like, I mean, you know, as long as it's not anything that I have to go to school for, you know, because I've never done anything like that before. And she's like, no, it'll just be like filing some paperwork, maybe making a flyer or something. And I was like, sure. So I started going in, and after a little like here and there going in, helping out, she offered me the position of being her assistant, basically like her full-time assistant. And so I worked that for a while. That I learned so much in that position. I mean, it was like working directly with Ali, the previous owner, and then also everybody else in the office too. I learned a lot from them as well, and from their positions. I did that for a while until the position of the booker opened up, which is, you know, the liaison between the clients and the models. And I got offered that position, so I started as the booker, and that was a really exciting position. It included a lot of back and forth emails, and that was like, I think I was beginning college around that time. So I learned a lot about professional emails and just like professional communication and all of that in that exact position. And then from here, I just like to say, I guess I just went up the ladder somehow, because I kept being kind of offered different things like to be added on to my position. So I became I think the position's name, I think it was like office manager or something like that. So still the booker, but also just like the added on duties of being, I guess, in charge of everybody else in the office when the previous owner wasn't there. And so then it just kind of got to a point where it was the previous owner and I doing a little bit of everything together. And so I became agency director, which is still the booker, but a little more, I guess, direct work with the previous owner. We did a lot of things that I learned even more in that position. It just kind of is like a deeper version of what I was doing before. And that was up until 2019 when the previous owner just kind of decided to step away from things. And I guess I was the best option. I had learned everything. She had taught me everything that I knew up until that point. And she offered me the opportunity to become the owner, which was completely unexpected. Honestly, I had just graduated with a marketing degree from WSU.
There you go.
Go Shocks.
And yes, and it was not at all what I had planned in my life. I thought that I would be working for someone at a marketing firm, or maybe doing something with psychology, because I did also minor in psychology. But then that was offered to me, and I was like, wow. You know, like,
how old were you at this point?
I was 22.
Oh my goodness.
I was maybe 21 when it was offered.
Okay. 22.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because what I was going to say next is when she said that, I think it was like during summertime when we met at like an old Chicago or something, and she told me all this, and I was like, wow, I think I might need to take a vacation before I give you an answer. All that. I was like, that's a pretty big decision to just like answer right now. And of course, you know, she completely understood. And so I really did. Like, I went to go visit family back in Bulgaria, and I spent some time there. And I just kind of spent time with family, asking their thoughts on like what they thought would be good for me to do. Or I guess, you know, their perspective on things. And I guess I came back with a conclusion that is something you cannot say no to. Like who would have known that opportunity would come about for someone like me who just one day decided to become a model. And then, now I'm the owner. And so I came back and obviously I said yes. And this year in October will be 5 years.
Wow. So, there you go. Well, congrats on this year in October.
Thank you.
And that's an amazing, like, fast track journey to become an owner, CEO, or whatever the title you choose, I guess.
All of them.
All of yes.
For all of them, definitely. So how did, like, were you still modeling during this time? You kind of just chose to be a model, but
right. So
were you still doing that all
I
the
was
time?
modeling up until I became owner.
Okay.
The second that I took over the position of owner, I just decided to step back from that side. And it wasn't because I don't have a passion for that side, because I do, but it just felt wrong in my eyes to continue down that path. Mostly because the last thing that I want is for current models to ever feel like I'm taking away an opportunity that could be theirs.
Yeah.
And so, and honestly, I don't even think I would have time for it now. So that was probably a good choice on my end, but, it's not because I didn't love it. It's just because I just wanted it to feel fair, and I wanted to keep things professional. And so, I have not modeled since I've modeled for like my husband, like for little things that he's a videographer, but not like for work for clients and stuff like that. So,
What was your favorite like shoot or campaign or anything that you did as a model?
Man, well, like I said, I'm tall, so I did a lot of runway, and runway was the place that just felt like home to me. Like I loved it. It was just thrilling. It was just so exciting. I remember the very first runway show that I did, actually, I think was Fashion Passion, which is crazy to think about because I think I was 16 at the time, and I was just kind of thrown in last minute. And if you don't know what Fashion Passion is, it's like one of the most exciting events in Wichita. And so to be thrown into that at 16, basically as brand new, like I had just finished development and everything, and it was so unexpected and exciting. And from that moment, I was like, I love doing this. I want to do more runway. So I did a lot of bridal runway, just in general, like any type of runway event that came up in Wichita, I was pretty much doing it. But I did also get an opportunity to be in a campaign for Linden's. I don't know if you guys know what store that is, but it's at Bradley Fair.
It's a women's store.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. And that was a really, really fun opportunity. That was really special for me because the day that I shot that was the day that I announced I was going to be owner, and that was my very last thing.
Oh, wow. Did a little, for the sports fans, like Peyton Manning winning a Super Bowl ring and then retiring.
Exactly.
So, well done on that. Very good, very good. That's how I had it.
It was very special. So out of all of them, I feel like that one just like hits the heartstrings a little bit because I remember it the most as being a special day for me. So.
Yeah. You got to model quite a fair bit and, almost a short career, because I feel like, he's old and he's still modeling. So, he's still modeling. So would that ever be something you got back into if you've, felt the time was right, maybe?
I mean, I think I would just leave it up to the clients, honestly. If there's ever just a need for someone like me, if a request comes in, and some of them obviously know what I look like, or I've met in person and they know me. There's a funny story of a client who needed a model last minute and they were like, well, why don't you do it? And I'm like, no, I don't think I want to do it. But I don't want to say no if a client is like pushing, like, I want you, but I'm never gonna
Like,
I guess probably
I
put
guess.
myself
Yeah.
in that position, like
Yeah, I
just
got you.
submit myself for something. I don't think I would do that anymore.
Okay.
It feels weird to me now. It almost
Yeah.
feels weird putting myself in a package of models, you know?
Yeah, well, you got your time in, and
Yeah.
now you're at the top.
Hey, it's
so.
okay. I love this side of the industry. I think it's really special that I have experience on both sides
Right.
to be able to see just everything, like all of the complete
Yeah.
behind the scenes of everything. And I really do love this side. So
Yeah.
I feel good where I am.
So what do you love most about it? You've been doing this for how many years now? 5 years?
Almost
On
5 years.
October.
Yeah.
I remembered now. 5 years in October.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've gotten to experience a lot of different clients, a lot of different photographers, and just anyone and everyone. So what's kind of been your experience with that and your journey with that learning?
A lot, I would say. I mean, you know, even when I became owner at 22, there was a lot that I still did not know. Like I said, I went to school for marketing. I did not go to school for business management. If I ever get the opportunity and time, I would love to probably go back to school and get another degree, because I think it would help me. So I think on the side of what I've learned a lot. Honestly, I've just kind of been thrown into it, and I've had to learn because that was the only way, let alone, don't even get me started, that I took over in 2019 right before COVID started. That taught me a lot in itself. So, I mean, the lessons are like never ending. I'm learning every single day something. But if I had to say something that has been very like meaningful and special to me as being the owner, it's just getting the opportunity to help people follow their dreams and kind of do things that I once got to do. Like it's so unique and special because obviously we start with a lot of teens. We have a lot of teens. We start at age 5, but the primary age is usually teen girls. And it's just so special to get to see them day one, and then years down the line, they're a different person. Like they're completely different because
It's like watching your kids grow up.
because of their experiences and just like being put in positions that they never thought they would be put in. I mean, even, my own story, I didn't even really say this part, but I was an extremely shy 15, 16-year-old, and I did modeling because I thought that it would help me get out of my shell, and it did.
Yeah.
I also met some like lifelong friends in the process, and just thinking back to that, I remember I was terrified to get up on stage. I was terrified to do any type of promotional job that involved speaking. But I remember the agency kept booking me for those things, and I kept telling myself, I was like, if they feel confident sending me to these opportunities, then that means I should be confident myself. Like I should give myself that opportunity because yes, I'm scared. Yes, I'm terrified. Like, yes, I don't feel confident about it right now, but I'm like, because the booker thought that I would be a good option for this, that means they believe in me. So I should take that opportunity. So it's just special to be able to give that same feeling and opportunity to young people now. So that's the most special part for me, is just
To instill that belief.
yes, all of that, like watching their journey, watching their growth, all of it. It's really special.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear how you're bringing everyone else up to where you once were, and who knows,
You
maybe
might be back. Yeah, it's still there.
we'll see.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, no, it is really cool because talking about like self-belief and stuff like that, and you learning that, I think it's probably everyone's biggest challenge is learning how to believe in themselves. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of growth and development in yourself and in others. And that's probably one of the coolest pieces of the job, like you just said. But are there any other cool pieces of the job, like any other stories you've had where you're just like, this made my day, this made my year, whatever it was?
I mean, I always like hearing feedback from clients, and then obviously from models too, when I hear just their thoughts on things, or like when I get a special text and I get something like, thank you so much for everything you've done for me, or, you know, that just little things like that. It really helps, I guess, like fuel my passion for all of this, because it reassures me that I'm on the right path and that I'm doing something that actually means something, you know, to someone. So there have been a lot of cool things. I don't even know where to start. You know, obviously I travel a lot with this position. That's fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
a lot of really cool connections and just opportunities in general. Meeting, you know, national, international agencies, super exciting. Seeing their
Very cool.
offices,
Yeah.
like just all of that is really exciting and cool. Let alone just like the being at events. You know, like just this past weekend. What day is it? Not this past weekend. Last
Turtleneck
weekend.
Tuesday.
Was it fashion?
I
don't know my days anymore.
It's a couple days ago.
Yes.
Yes.
A couple days ago. That's how busy things are. Being there for Fashion Passion, you know, and then a couple weeks before that, it was Women's Fair time, and being there for that show, like being behind the scenes at those events, they're so exciting, you know. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have, you know, New York Fashion Week here or any type of fashion week in Wichita,
No.
but I like to think that a lot of our local events are just as exciting. So just being there for those and seeing just all the hard work that I have put in and seeing it all come together is really special and exciting. I mean, every day is exciting, honestly. Like I have to be honest.
Good
like
answer.
I have to be honest. Like every
Yeah,
day is completely unexpected and exciting. So
There you go. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Now, you said we don't have a New York Fashion Week, but you are one of the leading figures of the model industry here in Wichita. So what can we see in the future? Do you have a idea of what the Wichita scene looks like in the future? What your company looks like in the future? What's that look like going forward?
ooh, that's a big question.
Loaded question.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only hope that the future of Wichita looks amazing and looks positive for, I guess, like the fashion community, because I do feel like there is maybe like a lack of knowledge about the modeling industry, about the fashion industry in Wichita specifically. Obviously, there's Kansas City Fashion Week, and there is more of, I could say, a fashion community in the Kansas City area that understands a little bit better about how things work. But Wichita is a little bit behind, doesn't quite understand, even down to, you know, the process of models and why they should get paid and all of that. I get a lot of clients who just don't get it. You know, they just kind of don't get, like, why should we be paying for models, you know? So if there's anything that I hope for, I think it is just that we're able to kind of educate the community more on the importance of talent and why they should get paid and how they can help local companies grow and develop, you know, their businesses. I think that would be probably amazing if it could happen. If we could get to a place where pretty much Kansas City is, where they have a better understanding of just the industry overall.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Nice. So you had kind of talked about, and this kind of ties in to the educational part, where you were talking about, even at the beginning, about how you made like some changes to how like a model signing and that whole process.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain like what goes on with actually like signing the models, the classes, what they have to do before they're sent out to get booked and do everything?
Yeah, so I would say the process is a little bit different for every person. It just kind of depends on a lot of different things, including their experience level and like what they've been through. But generally, you know, let's say if it's a teen girl, because I said that's kind of the biggest category that we have, a teen girl who is coming in with no experience at all and knows nothing about the industry. We do have a development process, which pretty much includes a 6-week online development class, which this is the part that I completely changed because, like I said, it used to be all in person. It used to be 6 months long. It used to be very intense and different. And I'm not saying that our 6-week online program is any less of, I guess, like knowledge and information. It has it all. It's just crammed in there. It's just like all online, flexible, and different than what it was before. So going back, the 6-week online development program, it teaches them all of the basics that they need to know about the industry, including runway, photo movement, acting for models, social media for models, which is so huge right now. Industry information. I'm trying to think, like there's just everything, a little bit of everything that you would need to know to get started. They go through that program, and afterwards we meet for an in-person workshop, which we pretty much just review runway and photo movement during that workshop, because those are two things that are difficult to completely master online when you're sending videos back and forth trying to give them feedback. It's a little bit difficult to watch a video of someone, doing a runway walk and give them complete feedback. So we work on those two things, and we make sure that they're kind of at a good place for photo movement runway. And then from there, they shoot with one of our local photographers. They get their portfolios started officially, and we use those photos to get them up on our website and our booking system. And then they're bookable. They're able to start working. But with that being said, I always say that at that point, when they are entered into our system, that's not the end of their development.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is not the time that they should think, I'm a pro, like I get to work now. It's
not the time
truly
for them to
only
put
the beginning.
Professional model in their Instagram site. But they probably do.
Yeah.
They probably do.
That is truly only the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles that we have now because of how different the timing is compared to, how it was before the 6-month process. Because before it was like after 6 months, you better know what you're doing, because that's half a year, But now it's kind of 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so. And we're just kind of throwing it all at them and telling them, here's the information. Now you have to practice as much as you can. And pretty much it's kind of put back in their lap instead of doing all the babysitting of like classes every week and all of that. It's kind of just like, here's the information. Hopefully you practice, you send videos, you do all of that, and you work on really truly becoming, the best model that you can be.
Absolutely.
So all the times when I'm like just staring in the mirror and everything like that, I'm practicing.
Exactly.
I'm just
It's not vain.
No,
it's not narcissism.
No.
It's practice.
It's practicing.
It is.
Yes.
Well, I just never knew. I didn't understand.
Now
I'm educated
you're
now.
Educated. Look at that.
This is the reason we were doing the podcast. Now I know. I was going to ask you though, is that the process you went through, and is that something that you were a part of as well?
My process was a little bit different because I came in with already having like a slight portfolio and having like experience from like dance and different things. So I didn't have to do classes because my portfolio and all my stuff was already like pretty much.
You were above that already.
Devin was someone who came in with just, we knew that he was bookable exactly how he was, like personality was there, like
so nice of you to say.
like everything, like we saw him, I think it was at a runway event. And
it was actually for Vanya Designs. It was, I was volunteering.
We got a whole web of networking in our
so
our podcast, and that's cool.
It's just, it was different because he was someone that came in and we were like, we feel confident we can book him tomorrow. and he'll be just fine. Like he'll be professional. He'll show up. He'll do great. He'll know, what to do, and so that's why his process was different.
There you go. Very nice.
And I was like, actually, like I was scouted because they talk about like sometimes people will go into the agency, but the person came and talked to me about it. And at first I thought that it was a scam, but I'm always down for a good scam. And I was like, let's see where this goes. But you
never know. Hey, that's how the Illuminati recruits too. So you never know. You never know who's going to get you, but we're glad it was M&I Models.
Yes.
I'm glad to.
We're good for that. We're good for that. But I was gonna ask something about Instagram models and people who think if I could just shave my head, take a 6-week course, and be on the same runway as Devin, or if the look you gave me kind of insinuated that is not the case.
Right.
So
I think it very much just depends on the person, and I think it truly all comes down to personality.
Am I too much of a silly goose to be a model?
No.
There's
I
no
guess
such
I
thing
don't
as a
know
silly
you
goose.
enough,
Okay.
Like I need to know more about you.
All right. I'll take the 6-week course.
It also comes with Devin is a dancer. He has a lot more to offer than just being a model, and so those are all just different things that we take into consideration, because a lot of people think that it's just all about being a pretty face or, like a good looking person, but really it's not about that. It's about having an absolutely amazing personality. That's probably number one on top of everything, because if you don't have a great personality, but you have this really cool look, unfortunately, that's just not going to get you anywhere. You have to have a good personality.
Bummer. I thought I could just look pretty and
nope. Not
that's
that
a
easy.
bummer.
And then also having more to offer,
Yeah.
like aside from having a great personality, if you have more skills, if you can sing, if you can dance, if you have acting experience, all of those things, a lot of people don't understand, but they can actually help you in the modeling world, because modeling is not just about runway. There's a lot more different types of work and opportunities, and a lot of them actually require some type of acting. I mean, even when you get up on a runway, you're acting in a way,
Feels like the next step almost. You would just go acting after modeling.
But even dancing helps models too. We have actually quite a bit of dancers who make amazing models because they know how to move. Like they just have that free, natural movement. So a lot of people don't really understand that part, but having more to offer can really, really help you as a model.
Very good. So if you can like pilot an airplane, would that be a skill?
Oh my gosh, yeah. You never know. I mean, seriously, like this is Wichita, air capital.
Yeah.
You never know what type of work we might get, and we do get a lot of like aircraft.
What about building Legos really good? If you can build Legos,
you never know.
Really good.
There's a Lego store. Don't we have one now in Wichita?
I know
there's one in Kansas City.
We have like an eBay Lego store type deal going on. So I'm familiar with the Lego scene here in Wichita as well.
They might need models one day.
Hey, well, just let me know when they do, because if I get a free set with that, I will absolutely sign up. So that's cool. Yeah.
So what has been like some really big things that some of your models have done that are like big highlights for you?
Probably just traveling outside of Kansas. Obviously, that is, one of the most exciting parts when I have people who want to take things further outside of Kansas, because not everybody does, and that's perfectly okay. But we do have a few people who are focused on making, I guess, more of like a full-time career out of it. So we've had people honestly travel all over the world, but more recently we had a girl in Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. Just, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that a Kansas girl
Yeah.
is out there, you know,
We're
like
not in Kansas
Penny
anymore.
doing her thing, you know, but there's also a lot of things here locally too. I mean, going back to just everything that we've talked about, there's just a lot of exciting, cool things here as well. And like I said, you don't have to take things further. We have a lot of people who choose to just stay here locally, and that's perfectly fine because there is a market here. There are clients here, and there are really exciting clients like Devin. He had the opportunity to be in both.
Yeah.
Ad, like that's, I mean, wow, you know, that's really exciting. I feel like he's really perfect example of someone who has had a wide range of opportunities that are really cool and exciting here locally in Wichita. I mean, who would have thought, you know?
I'd probably went to before knowing him. So
Yeah.
You always
that.
underestimate me, but that's okay.
But to answer his question, it was probably Paris Fashion Week, huh? That's probably the pinnacle, right?
I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, I wish I could have been there for that one. I was watching a live video of her walking, and it was just, it's so special. You know, it's just really special to know that someone from M&I is halfway across the world doing her thing in a different country.
Pretty amazing.
Because you make sure like once or twice a year to travel to like take models who are interested in going further. You take them to like New York or LA or Dallas and meet with bigger agencies and stuff, correct?
Yeah. So I try to do that as often as I can. We have different opportunities that we offer for, I call them showcases, basically just events to meet with national or international scouts. Just in a few months. In July, I'll be going back to New York for the same type of event, meeting with New York agencies. But yes, I mean, we have one that happens in Paris, but it's not just Paris agencies that attend. It's agencies from all throughout Europe and even some Asian countries as well who come, and they are scouting for models to work in those markets. So lots of opportunities like that for sure.
Very cool. Very inspirational.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next segment. Your inspirational Mount Rushmore. You get to put your 4 people who've really inspired you.
Ooh, my 4 people. 4. Where did 4 come
Mount
from?
Rushmore.
Oh, okay.
Came from Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
And they can get it from
yours.
any aspect of life. So
Yes.
Absolutely. This is open-ended.
This is
Yeah. So obviously my first 2 would have to be my parents, my mom and my dad.
Good answer.
Didn't, go as far back in my history, but I was not originally born in the United States. I'm from a different country. And so just even sometimes thinking back to the fact that I could have just not even made it to the United States, let alone become the owner of a modeling agency, is incredible. So like they are absolutely 2 people who just have always been, beside me and helped me with so much. And even more so now as a business owner. I mean, my mom is like my right and left hand. Like she is always there for everything. She was just there this past weekend. She's always helping with just anything. It's her absolute favorite thing in the world. If she could do it full time, she would. So yes, they are just my rocks. My husband would be my 3rd one. I wish I didn't have to put these in order because, I wouldn't say they are in order because I feel like, I met my husband when I was just a model working under the previous owner. So I was not the owner yet. And he was very much a huge part of why I decided to move forward. He's always just been someone who has motivated me, has pushed me, has just been there to say, like, you can do it. Like, I'll help you with this. Like, what do you need? You know, he's just always been that person. And he's just like so selfless with it. You know, he just like wants to help me. He wants to help my business. And of course, he motivates me every day. Like, I don't think I could do this without him, honestly. But my fourth one, I think I can't narrow this fourth one down to one person, because I think the fourth one would just have to be like the community of...
Can't put a community on Mount Rushmore.
No?
Unfortunately, there's only 4 faces on Mount Rushmore. Unless this community is a face of things, you're cheating, and that's not allowed.
Man.
So
I don't know. I mean, like, it's so hard to narrow it down to one person, because there's so many people that have been a part of just like the motivation part of it, and helping me, you know, like get to where I am. Like, it's not just 4. I need more.
This is just 4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about it. Tough questions. Gonna be tough questions.
It is a tough question. I mean, okay.
Was there ever like a model that you kind of looked at and you were like, hey, this is who I want to be in life, or something like that?
A model? Probably not, especially because I didn't end up being a model, you know?
That could have been, I don't know.
I really, like, I hate, there's like so many ideas going through my head, but I don't want to.
What's the first one that pops out?
You gotta say the first one.
I think it would have to be, Allie, the previous owner, because obviously I would not be where I am if she didn't give me this opportunity. And she has been a very, very large part of like my growth as like a person, like personally, but also, you know, professionally too. Just like all of the opportunities that I was given wouldn't be possible without her. So she would have to be my fourth person, and absolutely someone who I can still count on and ask questions to and everything. So
hey, that's
there's
a great
so
Mount
much
Rushmore.
more.
Hey, well, I'm sure there's Mount Rushmores elsewhere, you know. There's probably engraved faces on some other face of your life. I don't know how to say that, but you know, thank you for doing that, and thank you for, you know, letting us know who inspires you. It's inspiring to us. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
What words of inspiration would you have to anybody who either themselves are thinking about getting into modeling, or maybe they have like son or daughter or some family member or friend that's thinking about getting into it? What like advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I think it would just be to reach out. Honestly, like just do it. Like if it's something that you're passionate about, or that your daughter, son, whoever is interested in, just reach out, because I think that there are a lot of times, you know, people think it's like so frightening, like it's a modeling agency, they're going to be so mean, or, you know, not accept me, or, you know, whatever. But it's Wichita, you know, like it's so different. It's an entirely different world than what probably it is like outside of Kansas. So I would say just be confident, like reach out to us, like let's get, you know, a conversation going, because there are a lot of opportunities for people of different ages. I mean, a lot of people don't know that they can still model at 30, 40, 50, 60, even we have a 70-year-old, you know.
Nice.
A lot of people don't understand that, but you can. There are still so many opportunities. So just, if it's something that you're interested in, just please reach out.
Absolutely. That's been a common theme of advice is like, hey, just start.
Yeah,
just reach
just
out.
do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Just do
Yeah.
it. Not a slogan for Nike or anything,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah,
we'll say
it's
it
totally
still.
original. No,
Totally
we
original.
came up with it.
I did it.
Yeah,
I do it. Just do
I
it.
done it.
Just done it. Just did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that is great advice. And I feel if anyone's listening to that, they should definitely
Yeah.
grab onto that and hold on to it. So yeah, thank you for that. I think we have another segment as well.
Oh yeah, we can go into another segment.
Yeah,
and it's
we have
called
good segments here.
It's called This or That.
Okay.
And so you will have to pick one person from each category.
Okay.
And you have to just give us just kind of briefly why you would pick them. And this is going to be like models. So just
Ooh, I should
different.
have studied before this.
So we're going to just see. So we're going to start off with 90s supermodel.
Okay.
Side note, do you think that there still are like supermodels, or do you think that that's like a old terminology and it's not really like...
Is Miss America considered like a supermodel? Is that
I don't think I
follow-up
would.
question?
I don't think I would put the pageant like world in the modeling world.
okay.
Like a lot of people think it's the same, but it's very different. So they are sometimes they end up being models because they look
Right.
amazing.